Okay, so here is my Poshmark. Definitely come find me, and I will share any love, Beth bundles. I will share back and follow back and all that good stuff. So let's just get started. So 10 items that have sold even with flaws. So this first one, this sold last night, and this is the second time that it's sold. I will admit, and if you have been following me for a while, I've kind of explained everything with this jacket. So this jacket is a really high-end designer brand. I'd never heard of them before, him before, but when I looked it up, comps were great. I paid up a little bit for it. I think I paid $10. Um, I came home and listed it for 185, I think, and it sold within a day for 160. And I was so excited. That was my biggest flip. That was my highest sale so far. Everything. And the buyer was awesome. So anyway, she received it. This was right before Christmas too, so I was pretty excited for the payout. But ultimately, apparently there were some flaws that I just didn't notice. And so sometimes we notice flaws when we get home and disclose them, and sometimes they get an item and they open a case because there are flaws that we didn't notice, even as far as sending it out. So again, I think this happens to most people, and I was very apologetic, and obviously she won the case. So she sent it back to me. I'll show you the flaws here. Um, yeah, so there was a seam that had kind of a hole in it, and then the clasps were a little loose. So I got it back and relisted it for a big chunk less. I think like 85, and it's gotten some interest, but I sold it last night for $35. I really just couldn't get more than that for it, and I'm happy that it found a home. And again, lesson learned. I'll probably say that a lot in this video. So it's still sold even with flaws. I was very careful to make sure I disclosed everything after that. I just created a whole new listing. And yeah, it's still sold. This was this was my first big flip, I guess I should say. I bought this for $1, so $23 isn't that much, but when you only invest $1, it's pretty good. So this was a gorgeous Romeo and Juliet couture sweater, and in the back, I noticed when I got home, oh, where is it? There were some pulls. It was a very unique, like knit design and pretty delicate. Sorry, I'm trying to find here. Yeah, so you can see a pull there. Again, disclosed it, and I tried to fix them, but I didn't want to, make it worse. So disclosed them, and I sold it for $23 pretty quickly. Okay, next. This was like one thing that was just, it kind of reminded me that flawed things still sell. So I was really excited to find this snap tee pullover because they're really in. I loved the color, everything. When I got it home and I was photographing it, there was this just this area here that was just a little bit stiff, I guess. I don't know. The best way I can describe it is it's almost like glue got on it or something. It wasn't even a very big area, but I washed it. I tried to treat it. Nothing worked. So I just decided to list it anyway, and it sold within a couple days for $35. So I was really happy with that. This was a really pretty sweater. I paid up for it. I think I paid $8 for it. And then when I got it home, I put it on my white mannequin and hole. Very small hole, but again, I had to disclose it. But it still sold for 25. This I got in a filler bag, and it really wasn't. I don't know. It was one of those things where I didn't know if I should even just mention it because it was hard to even see, and I think I was just being a little paranoid. But better be safe than sorry. So this was like a really thick knit material, and you can see there was there are a few places where it like pulled and then balled up. I could have just tried to cut them off, but again, I didn't want to make anything worse, so I just disclosed it, and it sold for $36. So that was awesome. This wasn't the best return, but it's just another example of something that sold. Um, I listed it for like $30, so if it had sold at that price, it would have been great. This was a nice down puffered coat, and there was a stain on the back that I didn't see in the store. The last two pictures I've shown of flaws, I don't know if you think so too, but it's just really hard to see the flaws, um, which I'm okay with because I want them to think that I'm erring on the side of caution, which I am. So if they say, oh no, there's a flaw, and they look at the picture and they're like, I don't really see anything, then they may be more apt to be like, they don't really care. So obviously, don't take a picture of an area that doesn't have the flaw, but yeah, sometimes I take a picture and I can't really even see it in the picture, but I still post it, still disclose it, just to kind of cover myself. This was in a haul not too long ago, and um, again, when I got up to the counter, I noticed that there were some pulls in the knit on the sleeve, and so I just told her that I didn't want to buy it, and she let me have it for free. I wasn't going to list it, but then I did, and I'm glad I did because it sold for $30 still. This was another one where I made my money back basically. Um, I paid up for this. I think I paid $10, and it really would have been very valuable if it didn't have the flaws that I found when I got home. So it was 100% merino wool. Brooks Brothers is a great brand and always does well for me, especially if it's made of merino wool. Yeah, so here's the flaw. There's another little hole on the seam, and then down here at the bottom, whoops, there's a small hole. Um, but it still sold for $15, so I think 20% of that, I think I earned $12, and so I made my money back plus $2. Okay, this was in a fill a bag. Prana does really well for me, and I just thought with the embroidered cuff it was really pretty. I didn't notice until I got home that it had a couple of flaws on the front. Let's see. Again, hard to see, but there are a couple spots there. I still disclosed it. I even said not really noticeable, but it still sold for $15. So it was a fill a bag. I still made a profit, but I probably could have gotten like 20, 25 if it didn't have those flaws. And the last thing, this just sold. So pretty. I love this brand. It just doesn't do very well for me, flawed or not. But um, when I got home, I was taking pictures of the back, and I noticed that there was a spot here where it was like something was up against it, like maybe the hanger, and it kind of created this yellow line. Again, hard to see in the picture, but I put it in the listing and it still sold for $12. I think I paid like $3 for it, so I wasn't really too worried about it. Still made a decent profit, and it was worth my time to still list. So, real quick, just wanted to add everything up. So, all of these things, I did the math on what I paid for everything versus what I earned. And if I hadn't listed these items, I would have missed out on $145.30 net profit. So it's definitely worth it to try, especially if you have like a very efficient listing system so that you're not taking a ton of time on something that may not give you the best return. But I would just say always, always, always take pictures of the flaws and over disclose, even if you think you're going overboard, because you don't want to have to deal with a case. And yeah, so I thought this would be interesting. So some other postures that I'd like to tag, some big ones that I watch. I love Little Black Hanger. I love the Poetry of Nice. Who else? I watch a lot of Lindy Glenn and Everyday Style and a couple more. So I just can't remember them off the top of my head. So I will put their links to their channels down below, let them know that I've tagged them, and see if they participate in the tag. So if you have any questions or you have any of your own surprising flips, even with flaws, I'd love to hear about them in the comments, and I hope that you will tune into my channel again. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you're interested. Okay, thank you so much. Bye.